the Lord this morning. There's still some hope down at the potter's house for broken lives, for broken lives, for broken lives. There's still some help at the potter's house. Thank the Lord. And I'm glad you're here this morning, because this is the potter's house. This is the potter's house. Thank God for the potter's house. I thank God for the potter's house, but I sure enough thank God for the potter. Because the potter can set up a wheel anywhere. Make your lives over again. God be praised. Beloved, turn with me this morning to Joshua chapter 7. Joshua chapter 7. This morning, I made some statements the other night. I was addressing, I think it was a brotherhood meeting. I guess I will be known for several things after I'm gone. One of them being that I kept sort of a death conscience. And it bothers sometimes my family and friends. Don't talk about dying. I don't really understand Christians saying that, you know, but anyway, I'll let you do it. But dying's all right with me. I know where I'm going. But I think sometimes life is lived, listen to me, in a fuller way. For you who live with sort of a death conscience. You who feel that I got it, this is it, and I'll check out about 98, you know, and you have the tendency to live a little loose. But what if today was the last day? What would you do differently if you could, it'd be proven to you that tomorrow you were going to die? But there's nobody in here that right now anticipates dying tomorrow. No. We're going through winter. We're getting ready for spring. And I think the Lord laid that on me as a very, very young preacher. I used to tell my mother I never believed I'd live long. And I thought around 40 I'd be gone. I had in my mind that I wasn't going to make it to 40. I've made it a few years past 40. A few. And I've reached the time now that I almost look for it any day. Because that's where the buddies, a lot of my friends are checking out around this time, you know, just hitting their chest, dropping over. So consequently, when I come to the pulpit now, preaching is taking on a different light for me. It's a different light about preaching. I think I've come to see what it's all about. And it's not so much as whether you all enjoy me, it's whether you hear me. Whether you hear me. I mean, we can't take 40 and 45 minutes just to entertain people. It's too crucial. It's too crucial. And I think there's a time in my life I was in the traditional mode of a black preacher, And I thought it was, whatever it was. But I know today I may be preaching my last sermon, or some of you may be hearing your last one. And God will change some lives in here this morning if you hear his word. If you sit there and sleep a while and whatever, and lollygag, you might miss what you need to do it. This morning I want to talk about taking the heavy lightly. I want to talk about taking the heavy, taking the heavy lightly. That can be dangerous. And that's what some of us are doing. Taking the heavy lightly. The trend of Americans, the trend of this world is almost seen in our dress. Everything is casual. Everything is casual. Some of you can't wait to get out of church to go home and get in something casual. If you go out to dinner, you have to run by the house, get in something casual, go to dinner. You can't. And some people don't like Main Street because I don't like casual dressing here. Well, that's why you got other places where you can't go casual. I'm tired of casual. I'm tired of your casual dress, your casual life, your casual everything. Some of you raising your children casually. Everything you do is casual. We're taking heavy things too lightly. Can anybody hear me preach? Get mad if you want to, but hear me anyway. Just get mad, but hear me. I don't like it, but I'm going to hear what you got to say. We're taking everything casual. Talk casual. That some of our young people go off to college, go 4 years, and you can't take a decent interview because all you can talk is casual street talk. And you can't go to one of these corporate jobs and talk about, hey man, how you doing? Like I need a job. And they say, like there is the door. Some of you go to college, you hate English because English is not casual language. And you get offended when they take off 10 points for our ears doing fine. Because the tongue is so casual. Talk to me. It's so casual. It's so casual. So casual. I said the other night, but I shouldn't say that, but recently I've noticed how folk come to funerals. You didn't wear blue jeans to funerals, and women, men either. I mean, when I was a child, they had the finer clothes they had. You wore them to church and funerals. And you watch folk walking to funerals now like they're casual. I stopped in the store. I was traveling, and I have a jacket I love. I wore it with the brothers. I don't wear it everywhere, but I have a jacket. But they call me that's casual for me to wear this buckskin jacket. I like my buckskin jacket when I'm out sometime with the guys. But I got on my suit though. I got on my jacket. And a lady says, and I was stopping at the store to get a prop. She said, "Oh, that's so beautiful." She said, "Thank you very kindly." And she said, "That's what my daughter has chosen to make her wedding gown out of. Buckskin wedding gown." with the frazzles, And she said, and her veil is going to be made out of it. She says, now I don't like it. She said, but these young people, I wouldn't marry a woman walk down the aisle to meet me unless she was Pocahontas. A little rising moon or something, Life's going to defeat so many of you, and I say to many of you, because I'm preaching, I'm live on the radio right now, and somebody out there get mad too. I don't care. Don't write me now. Don't write me. Don't write me. You're wasting stamps. Stamps too hard to write me. But I'll say it again next Sunday. Life's going to defeat so many of us because we've taken serious things too casual. to cash. 7th chapter of Joshua, verses 2 through 4. You want to read it with me? You want to read it with me? All right. Joshua 7, 2, 3, and 4. Let us read. And Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Beth-aven, on the east side of Bethel, and spake unto them, saying, Go up and view the country. And the men went up and viewed Ai. And they returned to Joshua and said unto him, Let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and smite Ai, and make not all the people to labor thither, for they are but few. So there went up thither of the people about 3,000 men, and they fled before the men of Ai. Maybe he should have sent a few more. They have just finished, listen to me preach, Sherry. They had just finished whipping the folk in Jericho. They had just finished it. I've known some boys at home. I knew growing up in high school, and so I knew some boys at home. They get in a fight and they whip a boy. Whip him real bad. And it gives you this kind of I can whip everybody. And don't you go into your next battle on the strength of your last battle, because you could get messed up. It doesn't mean because you won the last one, you're going to win the next one. Do you understand me? Come on with me. They had just finished fighting in Jericho. The walls of Jericho had come down, and they were feeling, Brother Patton, their Cheerios. You've seen guys like that, haven't you? You dating this girl and you want to show you a man, you grab a little fella, little bitty guy, and you whip him up real good and make her think, ooh, Johnny is so strong. He's really bad. Oh, can nobody whip Johnny? And Johnny gets to flex his muscles and get all excited and hear that girl talking that sweet talk to him. Then Johnny reaches around and grabs something and it's too much for Johnny. And then the girl said, Johnny was strong, but Johnny's dead now. It can excite you. The children of Israel got excited. And Joshua said, now we've got to take out Ai. Ai, east side of Bethel, and Bethel and Ai, this is our territory. So some of you men go up and spy out Ai, and they went up, they went up with a Jericho bounce. Y'all don't hear me preaching. Well, why don't you like to hear me preaching? Don't go up to Ai bouncing about Jericho. Cause can y'all hear me? Rose, can you hear me back there? Ai is new territory, baby. Come on, man. We whipped them in Jericho, didn't we? Yeah, man. We took old Jericho down, didn't we? Yeah, we took old Jericho down. Man, we messed up Jericho. Jericho, that's old territory. See, you going up to Ai now, and you better forget about Jericho and get you some battle strategy for Ai. Yes, sir. All right. Now that's making sense. It's making sense. See, don't take your junior year like you did your sophomore year in college, because it gets a little rougher. And you go listen to me preach. You go into your junior year with a sophomore mentality, you're going to be back a freshman. See? No. You got to get geared up for every hill. Have mercy, Jesus. Every hill. Every hill. You got to get geared up. They went to Jericho. Let me hurry on. They went to Ai, rather, with a Jericho bounce. All right? Now, they came back and they said, so Ai is a small country. If you read up the 8th chapter of Joshua, what were 12,000 men in Ai? To this very small, measly 12,000. He said, the report of the committee is, Pastor Joshua, that you just send about 3,000 guys up there. wipe them out, you know, and they'll be back for dinner. I mean, send them up at about 7 o'clock and tell their wives get the dinner on the table at 12, and they can wipe them out and be back, you know, for lunch. And then this afternoon we can all go to the movie at 8, and so we be so rested up. I mean, it's really not any conflict at all. It's just measly 12,000 puny, weak. I mean, what are they to us? You know, we are tough people, and what are they to us? It's just a few people. And said you just don't employ all of us in such a small skirmish. I mean, it's really not a battle. It's not any kind of conflict. I mean, while the 3,000 are whipping them, we'll sit up here and roast them, you know. We play volleyball or something. I mean, just because they won't even get scratched. You know how tough we are. You just saw us over Jericho, didn't you? Said there's 12,000 little puny fellows down there. So send about 3,000 men over there and whip them real good, and everything will be over. And Joshua forgot to do something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He forgot. Come here to me and listen to me. He forgot to pray on the committee's report.
Yes, sir.
He forgot to pray over the committee's report. Okay? Just a little argument. We say, just a little misunderstanding. Do you know how we always make little an inappropriate adjective? Are you all having some problem? Oh, nothing wrong. Just a little argument. I mean, I knocked her out. She knocked mine out. Just a little argument. I mean, it was nothing major. Nothing major. We are defeated sometimes in not knowing the size of things. Don't wait for me. I need some warriors up here. If anybody can understand me. We are defeated sometimes in not knowing the size of things. You see, they had enough men. Listen to me, NASA. They had enough men to win the battle. But they wouldn't use, Kenny Wayne, what they had. I need some warriors up front. They had enough to win the battle. It wasn't they didn't have it. They wouldn't use what God had given them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
God has given each of us enough to win our battles.
Right.
But we will not employ the full strength of God because we feel too sufficient in ourselves. Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? You see, the enemy never shows you the intended end. Somebody hear me, please. I don't know why I keep saying that, because I feel like I'm not being heard. The enemy never shows you the intended end, Les. When the end comes, you said, I didn't count on this. I mean, I just thought you were. I thought you were really blowing it out of proportion. Nobody could ever make me believe it would come to this. Can anybody hear me? The enemy never shows you the intended end until the intended end has come. He never shows you the intended end. Last week, one of you asked me to mention something in prayer, and then you made a statement. But we know each other now. I don't have to pretend to you when you make me mad. You make me mad now. I tell you. but I'm going to love you next 5 minutes. Don't have me. And here was the statement. It said, elders, don't do one of Elder Ward's death prayers. Now, it ain't a matter of death. It's just, sometimes you make a thing, you just pray about a thing so till folks think it's most serious than it is. And I said, pray yourself. And the elder, you getting this so crappy. I said, it's been a long time, you folk. You make me crappy. Pray yourself. I ain't got time to ask you how to pray. You can't tell me how to pray. I don't need you to tell me how to pray. And I got plenty to pray. I'll pray over your junk. Pray over your own junk. Keep your junk. And many times, you know, saints, it's been my serious prayers that have moved some mighty things in some of your little lives. You know, now I'm really careful about. I talk to folk long before I pray about them now, because now nobody wants you to pray about their cancer like it's a cancer. And I don't say nothing. That's the Lord. Just the elder don't. Now, let me tell you something. If the doctor tell me that my stomach's full of cancer, I'm going to crawl up on top of the pulpit and tell y'all. Because when you got that kind of stuff in your body, you ain't got time to be cute.
Yes, sir.
And private, because you don't have private funerals. You haven't got time to be cute about this. Man, you've got all kinds of elements, and I don't want nobody. Now, you call my name, but don't say nothing. I mean, just don't. I'm ready to excuse them from now. I say, but baby, I tell you what, I'm not going to bother that. I'm not going to bother at all. I'm not going to mention your name. Yeah, I want my name. I want my name mentioned, but I don't want it prayed about like it's serious. I don't pray like it's. Now, why would I be up here taking that time calling your name if you ain't got something serious? I mean, all of us need prayer. Is anybody that need prayer? But if I get in the morning and say, this morning I want to pray especially for Elder Cornelius, and folks say, what's wrong with him? Nothing wrong. I want to pray for him. Well, we all need prayer.
Yes, sir.
I just tell people, I say, baby, I tell you what I'm going to do. You just talk to the Lord about that. Now, I may talk to the Lord about it privately, but I won't bother that in church. Because we're going to run into conflict with that. And you just go ahead and take it lightly, and you handle it the way you want to handle it, okay? And I'll just keep it quiet because you don't know that you've got to hit life with your best shot. Have I got some warriors? Listen to me preach. I hurry on. Defeat is invited when one does not properly consider the opposition. That's my first point. First point, Elvis. Defeat is invited. You said, come on, defeat. Come on, defeat. When one does not properly, listen to me, properly consider the opposition. What do you think the last thought Goliath had before he died? What would have been the immortal words of Goliath, the giant? I never believed this. 9-foot man walking out, meeting a 4-foot shepherd boy, half dressed with a sling, and he looked at me and said, Lord have mercy, they sent you out here to fight me? Defeat is invited when one does not properly consider the opposition.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jesus said this, Brother Mosby, said a man shouldn't build a house before he first sits down and considers the cost. Have I got some warriors? You defeat yourself. When you're going up against something, opposing something, that there are several things you ought to realize. First, the strength. First, the strength. Don't attack a bear with a cat mentality. No. You've got to consider the strength, the tools. What does your opposition fight with? You know your tools, But you got to consider what your opposition fights with. Because you see, your opposition might fight dirty. And we're not going to use any knives, yeah. You got to consider the tools. When the devil comes after you, he'll use anything to get you. Have I got any warriors? You got to consider the battle plans. You got to consider how familiar the opposition is with war. You've got to consider the years of his engagement. And I know that this is always maybe a slap in the face of young people, but some things in this world you learn by living. There are no courses in the university for living. No, there's some things you learn about 40 about throwing your money away. You learn about how to save some money. You learn you can't go out there and jump and buy all this little cheap stuff on sale every time it comes up, and all these little boxes and vases and fun-looking flowers. You learn after the lights are cut off and the car won't run, and you got all this little funny junk set up in your house. And you run it back out and say, "Can y'all take this back?" And they said, "No, I got to get me some tires." You learn a lot of stuff. You learn that tires on cars cost money, and oil and gas and light bills. You learn on a good snowy night what some good food would be. You know, here it is, the hard snow. You may get it the next day, the roads are cleared up, but that night, hard snow, and you said, "Man, with some crackers and water in the house." But it looks good though. But the house looks good. It's really decorated, but you can't eat false flowers, and you can't make a vase soup. You can't have all that. You know, you need some pork and beans and stuff in there for the cold weather. You will learn life by living life. Am I right? Am I right? Anybody? Am I right? Help me preach this morning, Ike. Am I right? You learn life by living life, and then you know. I thought they were all crazy, but they were right. They were right because it's not just jumping up and running out in life and throwing away your money and just traveling, sightseeing, going nowhere. You know, just riding around. Your gas is too high. Just riding around Louisville, riding around Cincinnati, looking around, and you ain't got nothing. Get back here, and the bill come in, and you remember this doing that plastic card. I'm gonna hold a lesson on charge cards. And I tell you what, we ought to get rid of them. Charge cards killing us, and I learned that the hard way. But this is a charge card world, you know. And then I've gone to my limit, and you know, as long as you doing that and send them something, they keep on raising the limit. I had to stop. I had to write a paper and say, "Hey, I don't want no limit like this." Because, see, the limit is like a hangman's rope. The higher it gets, the quicker to hang you. So you can't hang a person down here. You got to get up high and throw the rope over something. And those charge cards keep on going up, and then they throw the rope over it, put it around your neck, and there you are hanging in the wind, dinging it. See? Have I got some warriors? You got to learn life's battle plans. Help me, Lord Jesus. I know you're laughing. Help me, Lord. You got it. And then if you hear me preach this morning, you may not be so foolish, because you're taking life too lightly. You're taking things so casually. You're just laughing, going on by ha ha ha. My wife will tell me, "How do you just so?" I'm so. She tells me I'm so cautious. I guess. You know, we're in a restaurant, and one night we was in a restaurant eating midnight. And the lady came and said, "Do you know who was sitting here?" And I think she said, "No." And she said, "Well, they got up and they ordered all this big food and then they were going to the restaurant, and they walked out and got on in the car. Didn't pay a penny." Well, she knew she knew I could describe them perfectly, and she was looking at me like, "Honey, stay out of this." And she was talking. She never talked. She said, no, dear, we were eating and talking, and I didn't notice who the people who were sitting adjacent to us were. I know who they were. I know who they were because that's the way I live. I'm just, that's why I like Sherlock Holmes and Hercule Poirot. And I just sort of notice things. And some of y'all just never notice things. Notice nothing. I notice things. I notice what you, and I'm looking around all the time noticing stuff. And I hate people that walk down the street laughing, talking. When I pass an alley, I'm noticing who's up here. When I see a person approaching me, I'm watching their hands, watching how they walk. So how you doing, Alice? I'm fine, thank you. Fine, thank you. Yes, sir. And when you walk past me, I'm going to do this. All right, see ya. You may double back. Because evil has a way of coming by you and then doubling back on you. So be watchful. Have I got some warriors in here? Why don't somebody hear me preach the gospel? Be watchful. Be watchful. Some of your old habits you thought were gone will double back on you when you're 45. Have I got some warriors? You thought you dropped them when you got married. You thought they're gone. You thought, oh, that's part of my foolish, when I was 25. That's part of my, watch it. Things have a way of popping back on you. And they come back stronger than they ever been. The devil left Jesus for a season. I need some warriors. Defeat is invited when one does not properly consider the opposition. Somebody get that point. Write them down. I'll tell you 1, 2, 3, 4. Defeat. You're defeated when you go up to fight and you haven't considered your opposition. And just assuming, all right. Listen here. Loss is assured when pride is puffed to make one assume a strength that is not in evidence. You live this pride puffed up life. You can't whip the world with your mouth. You can't whip the world talking. You can't out-cuss everybody. Everybody got a PhD in that. Is that right? Haven't got any warriors up there. You haven't accomplished anything with your mouth. Brothers and sisters, you can allow yourself to be puffed into believing I'm the greatest and I'm the strongest and I'm invincible and I can do this and I can do that and I can do that. And have you often realized men brag of what great fishermen they are and never caught a fish? Don't you think you ought to bring in a few fish? Stay on the banks all the time. I mean, every day. Fishing every day. And never even catch a minnow. Don't even catch a half a pound bluegill. Nothing. Just come back with a pole and all your worms gone. Don't you think you ought to at least have some fish on the line before you declare you're a great fisherman? Help me, Holy Ghost, this morning. Somebody ought to hear me. Don't you think you ought to have some victory somewhere before you call yourself a mighty warrior? Have I got some warriors? Don't you think somebody ought to have heard of you accomplishing something? I mean, how did you get so great and nobody knows it but you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, how do you whip every country in the world and nobody knows you've ever been there? Don't you know that your pride can be your destruction?
Yes, sir.
Don't you know this forcing to make yourself believe, to make yourself real, to give yourself this kind of bounce among people just so folk would admire you is not enough in this world today? Have I got some warriors? I plead with you this morning. I plead with you this morning. Don't grab to be applauded. You shall be scorned when you're not able to lift up the object. Seriously, if you get anybody in the choir who gets puffed up, I'm not talking about teenagers now, I'm talking about somebody seriously, man, they want to sing a solo, put them up. You know they can't sing, put them up. Give them a difficult piece. Give them the mic, and you'll be through with that. You'll be through with that. Help me preach. That's right. Don't argue with a man. He said, I can. Give him the football. Put him on the field. When he's broke up, he won't play no more. When he runs the wrong way, listen to me while you're laughing. Some of us live for folk to applaud us. We love front stage. We love the feeling of walking out on it. We love the eyes being upon us while we stand there. But it's bad to take center stage. The lights are on you. Anticipation of the crowd is immense. And all of a sudden you find out you can't perform. You should have understood that before you asked for center stage. I need some warriors in here. I need some warriors in here. Men, don't beg me. What am I going to preach, Pop? What am I going to preach? Prepare something. Don't jump up here. I want to preach. I've seen everybody want to preach. I want to preach. But you ain't prepared nothing. You haven't been to prayer. You haven't been to God. You haven't been to study. And after a while, you're going to get mad. Everybody else looks at you and you finish. And I'm talking about the church was cold this morning. Church wasn't cold. Church was cold. No, church had kindling in it, plenty wood. You didn't have no match. Have I got some warriors? Don't. I'm preaching good. Yes, I am. Somebody ought to hear me. Don't run for the applause. You got to be able to lift up the object. You got to be able to do your work. Do your work well. Don't just love folk to applaud you. People, there comes a time when you got to perform or shut up. Have I got any warriors? There must be a time when boys become men and girls become women. I think we've had many troubled marriages because boys and girls got married. And living together in the same house with all the problems of life is not a boy and girl thing. You got to be a man and a woman, and you better be a praying man and woman, because even when the Lord put you together, hell's coming after you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have I got some warriors? And when your kids come home with their kids for Christmas one day, you can tell some old stories. This is grandma and granddaddy, and these fine people, and I thank God that mom and daddy never fought, never had a disagreement. You look at her. As I said, now we put the cotton up under the door so the security wouldn't hear us, you know. Send them over to Ain't Bertha Lou's and send them off to wait. We'll fight when camp time comes. The kids all be at the camp. I'm going to kill you when camp time comes. There must be a time when boys become men. And then, when you become a man, you ought to put away some childish things. Feeling better now? My partner just got here. When you become a man, you ought to put away some childish things. You boys who are playing men will be defeated at Ai. You boys who forget after you take the tuxedos back of the vow you made here at the altar, Ai will tear you up. Have I got some warriors? Ai is waiting for every timid boy wearing men clothes. Men can't lay in the bed in the morning talking about it's cold. Men can't lay up in the morning talking about it snowed. Boys can do that. Have I got some lawyers? Men can't wreck their ship every time they come into a storm. Sometimes you got to know when to draw back. Stay tough. Stay tough. But you got to talk to yourself. If I push this thing in the front, I'm going to wreck this thing. I better loosen up on this thing. You got to know when to draw back. What did the boy say? What's his name? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You got to know when to fold it. You got to know when to hold. You got to know when to walk away. You got to know when to run. Have I got some more in here? Be tough. Be tough. And say, let that go to tomorrow. You got to use some wisdom in your journey. Help me, Holy Ghost. You got to use some witness in you. You got to use some thought. For some of you have wrecked your children, wrecked your homes, wrecked your families because you pushed at the wrong time. You didn't know when to draw back. And sisters, don't get happy. Girls shouldn't be wives.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Girls don't make good mamas. Have I got some lawyers? Because baby, when you have babies, stop dumping your babies on everybody for you to have a good time. You had a good time. You got the baby. Stay home with the baby. Have I got some lawyers? You can't catch the ladies' dances and you can't make it the ladies' parties when you're rocking a baby. You got to stay there because girls shouldn't have them. They're for women to have. I need some lawyers. You girls who play women, AI is going to defeat you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Talk to me, Brother Mosby. AI was built to defeat you. You've handled serious things. Watch here. I'm preaching. You girls and boys, stop playing with sex. Stop playing with sex. You are handling a heavy thing too lightly. I need some more. Y'all better get in my back this morning. You handle it too lightly. It's too lightly. You don't end dates with sex. You end dates by the fella carrying you home. You don't have to go by a Holiday Inn to end the date. Huh? No, you end the date by him carrying you home, opening the door for you and saying good night, and you walk out. You don't have to go to the Red Roof Inn to end every date.
Yes, sir.
And over at the Bryan Station Inn, you know what that is, Bryan Station Inn. You don't have to go by that to end the date. When you leave the restaurant and leave the movie, maybe where you want to go home. Can we go riding? Riding where? Home? Tell the young slipper, you are handling heavy things too lightly. Have I got some warriors? I need a whole church with me this morning. Young folk, old folk, everybody hear me. AI will kill you. AI will destroy you. And then you come and call up and say, Johnny, what? I'm expecting, whose is it? He just called you a whore right there. Huh? You were his steady. You were his steady. So evidently he's assuming you were with somebody else while you were with him at the same time. He just degraded you right then. AI will destroy you when you handle heavy things too lightly. Preach. AI will destroy you when you handle heavy things too lightly. Stop playing with your bodies. Stop having babies you don't want, burdening you down and grinning. I don't care who you are. Stop it. I said stop it. Stop playing with sex. hetero and homo. Stop playing with sex. Have I got some warriors? There are some prescribed rules for this thing. Have I got some warriors? Some of you are going up to AI, handling life too lightly. You coming back with AIDS. You come back with venereal diseases that penicillin can't cure. Have I got some warriors? Flesh falling off of your bone, dying too early because you wanted 30 minutes of fun. The grave is too much to pay for 30 minutes of fun. Have I got some warriors? Live and play another day. God's been good to you all the days of your life. And you ought to give God more than just foolish life and throwing away your life and throwing away your pleasure. You ought to give God some good days. Ain't God been good? Ain't God been good? You ought to give God some good days. Hey, the sins of my young days are now behind me. I'm losing myself up here. I'm losing myself up here. Calm down. Calm down. You can't use child strength for adult engagements. Huh? And brothers and sisters, you all kids planning on getting married, stop kissing and suckling each other's mouths so much. Put one head over here and one head over here and see if your heads ever come together here. And then you all quit to, I gotta go on. You all quit just marrying because you are momentarily warm. So when you get cooled off, you get a divorce. Have I got any warriors? Well, I got to hurry on now. You won't get out exactly on one today, but that's all right. Now, they carried too few for the strength of the battle. They carried too few for the strength of the battle. Some of you who hear me today are not listening to me. Some of you who are hearing me today are not listening to me. Don't hear me today, don't call me next month. Huh? But I can't tell you any more back there than I can tell you out here. You are in your own strength, confiding, trying to run your own lives, your own homes, your own families, from your own heads. Oh boy, some of you are so brilliant. I love to talk to these brilliant folk who knows more than God. I love to talk to some of you brilliant people who, that's my rule and I won't change it. And Elder Warren, if that means whatever it means, that's just the way my rule is, and I'm not going to change it. Oh! Aren't you glad this morning that God gives a mercy with the law? What if God has said that's my rule and I won't change it? I'm getting happy. I don't want to get happy right now. What if God has said that's my rule, Eric Smith, and I won't change it? Well, since God has looked at you sometimes, Eric, with his rule, and he had to bend a little bit here and a little bit there and love you, look beyond your faults, see your needs. When you remember when the E2 and Erica comes to you and say, Daddy, don't put your hand on your hips. That's my rule and I won't change it. Because remember, God's been too good to you. Hasn't God been good to all of us? So therefore, sometimes you have to make some space for some folk to fit in, because they won't fit in normal spaces. Sometimes you got to do it for your husband, you got to do it for your wife, you got to do it for your children. You got to make some space. Sometimes you have to scoot over and tighten up for the husband to get in, or else you're going to wreck the whole house. It's not worth that. Do you have any warriors? Don't wreck your lives. Don't wreck your communities. Don't wreck your churches. Sometimes you've got to learn to scoot over, because AI is waiting for you. Have I got some warriors? Go back. Life is assured. I got to go back to verse 2 just real quick for a close. Real quick for a close. Life is assured when pride is puffed to make one assume a strength that's not in evidence. You don't have it all. You don't know it all. You haven't conquered all the world. You haven't been involved in every conflict. You haven't fought every battle. You haven't been through every battleground. You don't know all the battle strategies. You haven't read all the battle plans. Sometimes you've got to wait on the Lord. Amen. I need some warriors. And you folk who do more talking than you do praying, it's no wonder you mess up your lives.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Some of you are going to the bookstore and going out to Joseph Beth buying the latest books on the how-tos, the how to do this and the how to do that and the how to do that, and the greatest how to do book is right here. Won't God tell you how to run your lives, how to keep your marriages, how to protect your families, how to rear your children? And you're looking very scholarly, and you said, and the author of the most recent book I read said so and so and so and so and so and so. The author of the most recent book I read was the Holy Ghost.
Yes, sir.
And this morning his secretary was Brother Joshua. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And I got a word from you, from the Holy Ghost this morning, from his secretary Joshua, that some of you are going to AI ill prepared. And I'm fixing to close out right now that you're going home. Some of you are going to AI ill prepared. And bye-bye, Ted, I'm finna to go and sit down. I'm finna go out here, leave you all alone, go home for dinner, be back here tonight. Night service is tonight, yeah. Some of you are going to AI ill prepared. And some of you are being defeated on every hand, and you make these private telephone calls to me, and you worry me to death, and you sit up in church. You won't hear a sermon like this. If everybody heard a sermon like this, somebody would think before they left here. Some of you all are going to AI ill prepared. Have I got some warriors? And if you're going, slow down, Dennis, slow down. If you're going to get what God has promised you, you've got to conquer AI. Cedric, AI was not optional. You couldn't go around AI and Bethel to get to what God had promised you. God has put AI in your path. God put AI dead center of your journey. And there are no cutaways around AI. If you're going to the promised land, you got to go through AI. But God has already given you enough to take the city. But some of you are sitting there proud, arrogant, boastful, trying to look tough, begging about your money. You can't buy your way through AI. Nah. I'm preaching. You can't buy your way through AI. You can't bargain your way through AI. If you go through AI, you got to fight. But thank God he has not sent you out there without the proper weapons, without the proper tools, because the Lord will fight for you. The Lord will go before you. Have I got some more here this morning? And might I quickly add one more thing before I take my seat. One can have more, less. One can have more and still have little. Is that right? One can have more sand and still have little. Don't brag about how strong your army is. It's what kind of men you got. Is that right? Gideon left with 33,000, but he came to the battle with 300. And 300 did the war. Don't boast about, I've got a lot of money, I've got a lot of this, I've got a lot of that, I got a lot of that. You see, you can have a lot and still have a little. But because your lot of this and your lot of that is no match for AI. For Tim, they've eaten up men who had 5 times as much as you. AI has taken down Rockefellers and Kennedys. AI has taken down the richest men in the world. AI has sunk a many ship. AI has knocked a many giant down. AI has conquered many who had more than you, had more money, had more power. AI has taken down presidents. AI takes down kings. AI takes down queens. I don't care how tough you are, how bad you think you are. When you march up to AI, you better have a sure thing. Have I got any warriors? Well, I'm gone. I'm finishing down there. I've got to finish. Let you go home. Karen, we're on our way to AI. Come on. Anybody going? Anybody going? Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that, Sherman. I want to know, does anybody want to go to the promised land? Does Main Street want to go to the promised land? All right, Sharon, if we're going to the promised land, we got to go through AI. Is that right? I wish, I'm feeling funny. I wish to God, Mary Alice, I wish to God that I could tell you there's a route around AI. But I looked on the left side, I looked on the right side, and on the right side of AI, there's nothing but mountains. And on the left side of AI, there's nothing but a river. And if you're going to the promised land, you got to walk down through AI. Have I got any warriors? If you're going over there, you got to go through AI. And I tell you, all aboard, let's stand up and get our swords out and let's head for AI. Now, they tell me that when they sent the few men there, they ran them down and they killed them. But I haven't got time to do all of this. But Joshua went back to God. Have I got any warriors? He went back to God, and God told Joshua that Achan had done a bad thing. He had the accursed thing buried in his tent. Now I tell you what I want you to do. Adrian, you look, and Sherry, you look, Nanette, you look, and make sure we haven't got some nasty stuff in here that'll make God turn against us. Because when I march up in the valley of AI, I want to know the Lord is on my side. I want to know the Lord fight my battle. I want to know the Lord holding my hand. The Lord guiding my feet. And when they marched into AI, the Lord went with them. I want to tell you this. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. If God be for us, who can be against us? He's able. He's able. He's able. Take down AI. He'll fight my battle. He'll slay my enemy. He'll cut down my foes. He'll step over my opposition. He'll make my way out of no way. He's my captain. He's the captain of my battle. He fights for me. He's my God. He's my anchor. He's my strength. He's my ever-living portion. The Lord is able to fight for me. He's able. He's able. He's able. Hey, he's able. Ain't he able? Yes. All of you that are going to AI with me, stand up. If you can't stand, Mina and Lyman, just wave your hand. Turn around and tell somebody, I'm going through AI. Tell somebody, I'm going through. I'm going through. I don't care how rough it is. I'm going through. I don't care who opposes me. I'm going through. The Lord is on my side. Ain't that good news? Are you going through? Are you going through? Yes.